It's not always easy to sample an old song and get it to sound right in the context of a beat with a more modern production. So let me give you some ideas of how you might go about doing it. I used this sample and turned it into this. Let me show you how I did it. So I used Serato Sampler to slice up this one, really mostly because of convenience. It detects the key of the sample and it shows that it was in the key of A minor. I pitched it down 2 semitones, which means that I used the sample in the key of G minor in my beat. However, here is the problem. It tells you the key, but it doesn't tell you if the sample is actually in tune. And you know, with these older songs, they are very often not actually in tune, so they are kind of in between keys. And Ableton Live's tuner is really bad at detecting the pitch of polyphonic signals and generally full songs like this one. So I used this app called Key Tuner on my iPhone. It's available for iPhone and iPad. I'm sure there is an equivalent app for Android as well, but this one is really good. It actually detects the pitch of polyphonic signals and more complex signals, and so this one showed me that the sample was a bit sharp. So with the detune section of Serato Sample, I tuned it 40 cents down, minus 40 cents. So now it was exactly in the key of G minor and not in between keys. So I recorded my sample chops and here's how they sounded. So what I did then was to copy the Serato sample track and use the key shift function to transpose the copy an octave up, so it's still in the same key and it's still in tune with my original sample. So this one made the sample brighter and thicker and sounded like this. And when I combine both, so now onto the processing. First, I added Supercharger GT, a tube compressor. Really easy to just turn off the compression knob and squash everything, make it more aggressive. Then I loaded up another instance of Supercharger GT, turn on the sidechain from this yellow button here, turn it up to the max, turn up the compression, make the release a bit shorter, so this makes the sidechain effect more pronounced, a bit more abrupt. And so in Ableton Live, you got the sidechain section here in every third-party plugin that supports it. So I sidechained it to my whole drum group. Here's how it sounded. I used auto filter just to add a bit of variety to the arrangement. This wasn't on the entire time. And so the sample sounded a bit dry here. So I added Valhalla Supermassive. It's basically a reverb, delay, and a modulation effect in one. And so this mod section makes the sounds thicker and more spacey at the same time. So I used the Synth Ensemble preset, dialed down the mix a bit. Doing all this made the sample sit quite nicer in the mix. So here's how it sounded with the Valhalla Supermassive. High pass filtered it with EQ8 and also added a high-end boost with Lifeline Consoles EQ. You don't really need to use that plugin, you can use any EQ, but I thought this sounded pretty good here. We got this. So if we were to play this section for the whole track, it would get a bit boring. So let me give you some tips on how to create a B section as well and still retain the vibe of your sample. Made yet another copy of the Serato sample track. And I played the different pattern. However, I've muted my first sample sequence, so it's no longer playing. If you check out my earlier video where I remixed the GTA San Andreas theme, you can see how I stacked the sample several times and used different patterns. I will link the video down in the description if you missed that one. It's a great approach as well. And so with the sample in the background and not playing such a prominent role, I had the space to add some chords. I used a basic saw wave patch from my sample pack called The Heat. So the chord sounded like this, again with Valhalla Supermassive and side chaining with the Supercharger GT. And also I used one of my presets for Ableton's Drift synth, but I automated the oscillator one shape, so the bass sounded like this in the first part of the beat. But then when I automated it, it sounded like this in the second part. A bit more aggressive. And then later on, I even changed up the bass line pattern. So all of these things add up to add some variety to the whole arrangement. If you enjoyed the video and if you found it useful, hit that like button down there. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, you might as well subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet and if you want to get future videos in your YouTube feed. Check out my sample packs and my Ableton Live packs from the link down in the video description. I got some free ones as well if you haven't checked them out. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I will catch you later.